Ministry of Health and its partners get towards creating awareness for diabetes. So the initiative brought together medical practitioners who are directly involved in diabetes management, along with community nurses, home health aides, and caregivers for hands-on training in the application of the CAFA guidelines for the management of diabetes in primary care in the Caribbean, as well as the Diabetes Nutritional Management Toolkit. So a very informative and comprehensive workshop. So we're going to take a look back at that news report featuring the CAFA diabetes training. Healthcare professionals across Saint Lucia are participating in a 4-day specialized training workshop focused on enhancing the management and treatment of diabetes in primary care. The initiative brings together medical practitioners directly involved in diabetes management, including primary care physicians, nurse practitioners, nutritionists, dietitians, pharmacists, community nurses, and home health aides for hands-on training in the application of the CAFA guidelines for the management of diabetes in primary care in the Caribbean and the Diabetes Nutritional Management Toolkit. This workshop is part of a regional effort led by the Caribbean Public Health Agency CAFA in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization PAHO under the subsidiary agreement titled Strengthening Public Health Capacities in the Caribbean Subregion. Through this partnership, CAFA is providing country-specific guidance and capacity-building support to its member states to promote standardized evidence-based diabetes care. In his remarks, Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, Ernest Norbal, emphasized that the CAFA Training of Trainers workshop in diabetes management is timely and aligns perfectly with Diabetes Awareness Month.
This training aligns well with this year's theme, Diabetes and Wellness, and places focus on the team approach in ensuring that all persons living with diabetes have access to holistic care, which is provided by adequately trained caregivers and health practitioners. This approach to capacity building, which includes a multidisciplinary team across sectors, is indeed commendable and goes a long way in strengthening and standardizing the care that persons living with diabetes will inevitably lead to better health outcomes, a goal that we all work towards.
Dr. Heather Armstrong, head of the Chronic Disease and Injury Department at CAFA, explained that the workshop aims to ensure that healthcare providers are well trained in the use of CAFA guidelines and protocols and will be empowered to help clients improve their health outcomes.
The idea is that we want to have healthcare providers who are well trained, but also have the ability to help to empower their clients so that you have productive interactions that occur on a daily basis as we meet with our clients, because we want to have a patient-centered approach where we look at the context of the client. We're not just giving recommendations on how to manage the diabetes or high blood pressure, but rather how does this person improve their outcomes based on their situation, utilizing the protocols from the guidelines.
Family nurse practitioner Alexandra Gemot, a participant in the workshop, noted that the training was a valuable refresher that reinforced best practices and better equipped health professionals and caregivers to deliver more effective diabetes care.
I'm happy to see that we have persons from SSDF who deal with the elderly, and that they could be here, because sometimes, there's a lot of persons who are at home with diabetes, they don't have anybody caring for them, but the fact that they're here to get that training and that information, they'll be able to care for our elderly persons better. We wouldn't see, there might be a little decrease in hospitalization rates, comorbidities and so forth. So I like it, but for me, it's a refresher. And some of the figures or some of the ranges, that I maybe take for granted, because maybe where I'm at, most of our clients are controlled.
This training will cover 5 modules with the aim of strengthening and standardizing the management of diabetes in primary healthcare settings in Saint Lucia. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, I am Onika Mako. All right, great. And continuing with some more projects and initiatives spearheaded by the Ministry of Health, stakeholders from various sectors such as national security, public health, secondary health facilities, and government ministries met recently in a seminar to discuss the early warning system for drugs in St. Lucia. Now, this very important seminar is expected to build the capacity of stakeholders to successfully implement the early warning system for drugs and also to be better able to detect and respond to new and emerging drug threats and new and emerging psychoactive substances. So we're going to take a look back at this stakeholder seminar on early warning system for drugs.
Efforts to strengthen St. Lucia's capacity to detect and respond to new and emerging drug trends is advancing following the recent stakeholder seminar on the early warning system on drugs convened by the Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat, SACS, within the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs. The seminar brought together public health practitioners, representatives of secondary healthcare facilities, representatives from national security agencies, and representatives from government ministries. This seminar provided a platform for stakeholders to engage in dialogue, share experiences, and build capacity for the successful implementation of the early warning system in country. The early warning system was launched in October 2024 and serves as a surveillance system which will facilitate interagency communication and decision-making as it pertains to responding to the threats of new and emerging drugs. Coordinator of the Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat, Natasha Lloyd-Felix, underscored the importance of the early warning system as it will assist in ensuring a proactive response to the potential threats of new psychoactive substances, NPS. New psychoactive substances are drugs that copy the effects of illegal substances like cannabis and cocaine.
By bringing the various agencies together, it would allow us to have a more agile response. The tendency has been for us to be more responsive to situations, but through an early warning system, which is multi-agency, multidisciplinary, we would be able to be more proactive and allow for our efforts to be more integrated. So the benefit of having this in place is that you would find our agencies are able to come together in a more synchronized manner, and we would be able to intervene, we would be able to communicate to the public in a more timely manner, and we would have a more proactive response to potential threats that would be posed to our public, our various populations who are at potential risk of using particular substances, particularly new and emerging psychoactive substances.
Inspector of the Customs and Excise Department, who's also a member of the Early Warning System Committee, Darren Solomon, called for stakeholders to fully support and appreciate this initiative, which will help St. Lucia to fight against the threats of new psychoactive substances, NPS.
This threat is real and it's already knocking on our doorsteps. These substances continue to evolve faster than our traditional control systems, posing serious risks to health, safety, and security. Our response, therefore, must be just as dynamic, built on coordination, information sharing, and early action.
Stakeholders also got the opportunity to hear the experiences of another Caribbean country, that is Barbados, using the early warning system EWS to effectively respond to evolving drug threats. Deputy Manager of the National Council on Substance Abuse and EWS Coordinator in Barbados, Troy Wickham, presented at the seminar and highlighted the importance of the early warning system for public health and safety.
It's important for persons to take in as much information as possible, share this information with their colleagues when they go back to their respective departments and formations. Also, that we can collaborate as a region, as a hemisphere, especially Caribbean region. We are so close to each other geographically, and I can say what's impacting Barbados may be impacting St. Lucia, and it's important for us to collaborate, and trust each other. We know that, especially with law enforcement, as treatment facilities, substance abuse as drugs especially are a bit taboo and people don't like to share information, but mechanisms such as the early warning system have been designed for persons to collaborate and to trust each other and share information so that it will impact the entire society in combating these substances.
The stakeholder seminar on early warning system for drugs received technical support and funding from the Organization of American States through the Inter-American Drug Abuse Control Commission, OAS-CICAD, and the Government of Italy. The Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat, through its Early Warning System Committee, is committed to ensuring continued collaboration among stakeholders and to utilize the various strategies or protocols for control of new and emerging psychoactive substances. Reporting from the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, I am Fernal Neptune.
All right, so again, that was a very important stakeholder seminar on the early warning system for drugs in Saint Lucia. And with that, we're going to take a really quick break. Of course, when we come back, we get ready to meet our special guest. She's a nutritionist, Fadia Campbell, and we're discussing diabetes and nutrition and diabetes, giving you all of the important information that you need. Remember, November is designated as Diabetes Awareness Month. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Now you can have your deaf announcements and teleobituaries heard on Sundays, right after the church service with Father Albert from the Babano Good Shepherd Catholic Church. That's right. On Sundays, have your deaf announcements and teleobituaries heard right here on Hot7 and Kiss FM simultaneously. Call 452-6040 from Monday to Friday. Call and make arrangements for your deaf announcements and teleobituaries to be heard at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. Monday to Saturday, and on Sunday right after the church service with Father Albert from the Babano Good Shepherd Catholic Church.
We are working parents,
and we breastfed both babies exclusively.
Moi fais 6 chiches, moi ba yo tout tété ki yo tout ni bon sével.
Mother's breast milk is naturally the best milk for baby. Love yourself and love your baby.
We were breastfed and we are healthy.
Breastfeeding saves me money and it's free.
Every moment I breastfeed strengthens the bond between me and my baby.
I breastfed twin boys and lost all my baby fats.
We were breastfed!
And we have breast milk power.
I am Pastor Alvin and I support breastfeeding.
For more information, call the Nutrition Unit of the Ministry of Health and Wellness at 468-5359.
Have you ever thought about the gift of life? Many don't until it's urgently needed. Here in Saint Lucia, we often hear the call. Now it's time to heed the call. Newborns, sickle cell patients, renal patients, cancer fighters, accident and trauma victims, they all need your help. Your unit of blood can save up to 3 lives, 3 families, 3 futures forever transformed. It takes less than an hour to become a hero. Visit any of our blood donation centers Monday to Friday. OKEU from 8:15 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Call us at 458-6748. St. Jude Hospital from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Telephone 459-6700.
Every bed in our hospitals tells a story of someone's mother, someone's brother, someone's friend. And when that story of care is complete, it's time for the next chapter, home. But too often, discharged patients are left waiting hours, days, weeks, sometimes months, not because they want to stay, but because no one comes. We understand life gets busy. Every extra day they wait means another patient, perhaps in pain, perhaps in crisis, can't get the bed they desperately need. So when the call comes that your loved one is ready, please be ready too. Pick them up, bring them back to the comfort of family, where healing truly continues. Because caring doesn't end at discharge, it continues with you. A message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs.
Yes, that was Saint Lucia Top 5 for Carnival 2025. Yes, welcome back to Real Men Take Charge, guys. Real Men Check Up.
To all my listeners out there, visit a men's health clinic in your area today.
PSA checkups are now free.
It's private, it's quick, it's efficient, and convenient.
Music touches the soul, but health keeps the rhythm going. Fellas, it's time to check your PSA levels. It's free, it's simple, it can save your life.
Brothers, do you not know that your bodies are the temples of the Holy Spirit? Let us be wise stewards of our lives. Prostate test saves lives. Let us not wait until it is too late.
To be a champion, you need to show up for yourself. I'm encouraging every man to take the step. Get checked. Stay strong. Do it for the team. Do it for your family.
My daddy is a hero, and I want him around for a very long time. Daddy, if you care about me, please take care of your health.
I faced colon and prostate cancer head on, and I'm still standing. Early detection saved my life. If I can do it, so can you. Don't wait. Get tested. It's free, it's simple, and it will definitely save your life also.
Real men.
Real men.
Real men take charge.
Real men check up.
And welcome back to the Wellness Hour. Thank you so much for staying here with us. And as we get ready for our special guest, I'd like to just give her a warm welcome and thank her as we're speaking with our nutritionist, Fadia Campbell. And of course, we are discussing nutrition and diabetes. So welcome to you, Ms. Campbell. It is a pleasure to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you very much, Onika.
Great.
And again, my name is Fadia Campbell. I work as at the Ministry of Health as a nutritionist in the Southern region, which is Region 5.
Great. And Ms. Campbell, just tell us a little bit about, your roles and responsibilities as a nutritionist. I know sometimes you have to carry many hats and the work can be very detailed as well.
Yes. So basically, my role is to empower individuals to make informed, scientific-based healthy choices.
Okay.
Yes. Healthy nutrition choices. My role also is to go into the schools to provide nutrition education to the students, to the teachers, the educators.
Right.
Also, I go into the communities to empower individuals just to adopt healthy lifestyle practices.
Very important. So you really do have your work cut out for you. But can I imagine? I can imagine can be also very rewarding as well. Just knowing that you're educating people and giving them that important information again to just make the right choices when it comes to nutrition and diet and what they eat. So of course, November is Diabetes Awareness Month. From last Thursday we would have had World Diabetes Day, and there are so many activities. You have screenings, you have health fairs. I know the teams have been doing a lot of groundwork. But when you think of the nutrition aspect of it, Ms. Campbell, why is it such an important aspect of diabetes management, the nutrition?
Yes. So nutrition plays a very pivotal role in the management of diabetes because it directly influences blood sugar levels, body weight, blood pressure, cholesterol, and the risk of complications. And there are some key components that why what you eat really matters. In that, for example, you have blood glucose control, so that is very, very important. And carbohydrate is a nutrient that directly impacts one's blood glucose level, so that is very important. So being able to know the amount of carbohydrate to eat, the quality of the carbohydrate is also important, will definitely impact one's blood sugar level. Additionally, balancing micronutrients, so it's not just the carbohydrates, also you have protein, and of course healthy fats must be part of that diet or meal plan as well. Additionally, persons with diabetes may tend to be overweight or obese, and of course overweight and obesity can impact diabetes as well. Additionally, diet also has to do with reducing cardiovascular risk, so it depends on what it is that you choose to eat. So basically nutrition is the cornerstone for diabetes management.
Definitely, it's right there. And when you think of diabetes management, it again goes hand in hand with the nutrition.
Yes.
So Ms. Campbell, if I say universal diabetes diet, is that such a thing? Is there a universal diet plan, or is it really more personalized based again on the individual and their type of diabetes, other risk factors, as you mentioned, somebody maybe being obese and overweight?
Definitely, there isn't a one-size-fits-all diabetes diet, because there is no single diet that will fit or work for everyone with diabetes, and because you have to look at the person's medication. What medication are you taking? So that diet that individual is having has to match the medication. So for example, if somebody is taking insulin, that diet has to be modified to meet that person's medication needs as well. Yes. So in instances, like I said, where an individual may be taking insulin, they may have to include a snack in between their main meals in order to keep their blood sugar steady.
What about lifestyle, Ms. Campbell? Maybe somebody who is trying to do a little bit more exercising, and these are certain things that, or even you have somebody who is not, they're always on the go, but with diabetes, they're always on the go, they're always working. Are these some of the things that would really have a factor in what they eat, how they eat?
Oh yes, most definitely. So if exercise and regular exercise and physical activity is part of this individual's lifestyle, definitely the diet would be important. So somebody exercising and having their exercise plan together, you need to ensure that even when you exercise, what is your blood glucose level even before you do that. So exercise also can help to reduce glucose levels. So diet would be important. So in an instance like this, this individual would need to check their blood sugar level before and even after. And if it is that the blood sugar level is low, then depending on the time of the day, that person can have either a main meal or can have a snack.
Interesting. I'm happy you mentioned that, because again, that would also go in with some of the things you'd consider if you're customizing a meal plan for somebody with diabetes.
Yes, definitely. So let's say that individual, for breakfast, they can include whole grains into their diet compared to the refined carbohydrates. And with the whole grains like oatmeal or whole grain crackers, etc., these foods tend to be slower as it relates to absorption. So it does not spike the individual's blood sugar compared to, let's say, the white bread and the white flour that would spike the blood sugar directly.
And it would happen a lot quicker.
Yes, it would happen a lot quicker. And even going back to the meals, so that person would have had to have breakfast, maybe a mid-morning snack, their lunch, maybe a mid-afternoon snack, and of course their dinner. Yes.
And if you think of, okay, here in Saint Lucia, Miss Campbell, you know, our cultural food is so rich and diverse. You know, how can, you know, somebody with diabetes still be able to eat, you know, these things, but in a more healthier way, in a way that is sustainable for them having diabetes? Or do they, you know, have to really just cut it out altogether? Or can they still, you know, not indulge but enjoy these foods? I know moderation is always key as well.
Yes, so you're talking about treats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as it relates to treats, yes, an individual with diabetes can still enjoy some healthy treats.
Right.
However, it has to be part of the total caloric intake.
Oh.
And even with the treats, they can be fruit-based treats, nut-based treats, maybe some low-fat or plain yogurt treats.
Right.
So, and also, like you alluded to a while ago, the amount that they eat, everything
moderation.
basically in moderation. But that doesn't mean an individual can't have, let's say, maybe a scoop of ice cream, or maybe half a cup of yogurt or plain yogurt, and probably add some fruits.
Right.
A small serving of fruit to that. Or look, now we have Christmas is coming very soon,
yes.
and our famous black cake. So
love me some good black cake.
Yes,
but then again, the amount would be important.
Yes, the amount would be important, and the individual can actually bake their own cake without using added sugars. So they can use the fruits as the natural sweetener.
There you go. And the fruits are already sweet. And even when we did My Plate a Healthy Plate with Miss Hunt, she had, you know, she did some baked goods that, you know, didn't need any additional sugars. I recently tried a banana bread, and I realized I had to cut the sugar that the recipe called for. I had to cut it in half because the bananas were already sweet, so it didn't need that much sugar, and it still tastes, you know, really good. So I think sometimes we think, oh, you need so much sugar to get a sweetened taste or a good taste, but again, our fruits, as you mentioned, come with all those natural flavors that, you know, gives it the sweet taste. So that's important.
So yes, they can enjoy the little treats, our culture.
Definitely, I love that.
Yes, yes.
And with someone who has diabetes, Ms. Campbell, how often would they be on a regular meal plan with somebody else, or how often would they need to eat? Would it be, you know, more, or is it a situation based on how they feel that they eat something, or should they really stick to you know, eating at particular times?
Okay, so again, going back to that individual, it would have to depend on the medication use, for example. But we normally would recommend having the main meals, the breakfast, the lunch, the dinner. And if it is, like I said, they're having medication like insulin, it may call for in-between snacks. But if it is that the main meals cover sufficiently the carbohydrate, the protein and fat, there may not be any need for you know, additional food. And I want to go back to the My Plate. Yes, the My Plate. It is a very, very useful tool that we recommend for individuals with diabetes to, you know, plan their meals.
Because the portions, I learned so much about portions, Miss Campbell, based on the plates and the sizings. I think we have the diagram up on screen.
Right. You know. So yes, so basically this, you know, it represents, you know, I mean, it's the My Plate where you have half of your plate, you have your dark green leafy vegetables, the non-starchy vegetables, so you can load the plate, half of the plate with that, and the other half of the plate you break it down into foods where you have your animal protein and then you have your plant protein, which is your peas and beans, and of course you have your complex carbohydrate, and that can include some slices of ground provisions, some whole grain rice, etc. So it is simple, and it can be a very healthy and balanced way to eat.
I think once we can all, you know, follow this method
Yes.
of what our plate should look like, you feel so much better when you eat. You feel a lot healthier. I've always had said to Miss Hunt, you know, after you eat, you have niggeritis, and that's not how you should feel after you've eaten. And so I think from learning that on this show and trying to incorporate it into my daily life, I have to say that, you know, after you eat, I feel energized. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I want to sleep. You feel sluggish. No. And I always felt like, is this normal to feel like that after you've eaten, to feel like, oh my gosh, you just want to go and lie on a sleep? I'm like, but we're supposed to be getting nutrients and energy from our food, so why am I feeling like this? So, you know, is it a situation where we're really not eating the right portions, eating for your body size, you know, these things? But it really helps.
It really helps. And in addition to that, you would be, you know, cutting down on your portions. That is able to save
Yes,
you.
I'm happy you said that, Miss Campbell, because I think we take it for granted. If you can stick to eating like that, which is healthier, it's cheaper. You pass by the market, sometimes the things are in abundance. You get a bag of lettuce for $5, your cucumbers maybe free in a bag for $4. So, you know, it becomes a lot cheaper. It becomes a lot more affordable.
Most definitely.
Because it really helped me realize that, you know, back in the day, if you don't know, you say, oh, but eating healthy may be so expensive, but it's not.
It's not if you plan carefully.
Exactly. You're eating what's homegrown, what's locally produced. You're eating even maybe what if you want to start your own home garden, what you produce as well, and it is so much healthier for you.
Yes, most definitely. And you know, just to give an example of, you know, a meal for a day, for example. So for breakfast, an individual can have a hard-boiled egg. They can have maybe half a cup of rolled oats. Right? Maybe with a splash of low-fat milk. If that individual does not take in dairy, they can have the plant milk, which can be almond milk or coconut milk. A little sprinkle of cinnamon on the
some flavors, you know.
Give some flavors. So for mid-morning, they can have a small fruit, and that can range from a small orange or a small ripe banana, a wedge of watermelon, just a small portion, maybe a handful of nuts. And for lunchtime, they can revert to the My Plate, where I explained a while ago
the breakdown and the portions. And for dinner, they can have, maybe some people would normally have maybe some cereal, and that can be whole grain cereal. Or some people actually do, in my experience, I realize some persons, they still like to enjoy their ground provisions at dinner time. So just a little bit,
a small portion, maybe one sweet potato with a piece of fish and some vegetables. So that can be a small dinner for an individual.
Again, everything in moderation.
Everything definitely is in moderation.
And I think say back in the day, but you know, we probably, I don't know where we got that notion that you have to eat a heavy meal at night time. And again, Miss Campbell, from doing this show and having the talks with nutritionists like yourself and Miss Hunt, I, you know, started to put the little changes, the little knowledge. I started to practice it at home and realizing that if I, you know, eat in moderation in the evening and try to eat, you know, a lot earlier instead of later, my sleep quality also is a lot better. If I eat heavy at night, I can guarantee you I will not sleep properly. I keep waking up, I don't feel well rested. And so just again, I don't know, I guess maybe growing up in particular households, you know,
that's what our tradition.
You know, nighttime as if you have to eat a full meal, which is not the case.
It is not the case. It is a very unhealthy practice.
It's not.
Yes, it's a very unhealthy practice, like you alluded to. the energy you would need to, you know, get yourself falling asleep
exactly
now has to be diverted to digest the food that you have just eaten. So definitely that will interfere with your sleep.
Yeah, and sometimes we wonder why when you wake up you still feel tired, fatigued, a little lethargic, because you know your body is there working overtime as opposed to focusing on that rest and reset. It's working overtime to digest food. When you and you say, you know, you're not getting a good quality of sleep, but it's important what you eat. And I realized once I kind of made those small changes, I didn't feel as hungry in the night as I would normally feel. It's like my body was adjusting, so I could probably even not eat anything or maybe have some tea, something small, and then go to bed and feel normal, wake up feeling fine.
Definitely.
Not even wake up feeling so hungry either, just knowing that I need to have some breakfast to sustain myself.
Yes, definitely. So it is always recommended to have your calories throughout, in the earlier part of the day. Yes, so there is the saying, I don't know if you'd have heard of it already, you eat like a king in the morning, you eat like a queen in the afternoon, and then you eat like a pauper, like a poor person in the night.
That's true.
So basically that's the whole idea.
So you can follow that rule to just, you know, again, and it's just the little changes. It's not anything much. It doesn't take away too much from you to try or to implement any of the knowledge and the information that our nutritionists give you. You can try at home, practice it with your family, get the children involved as well.
Yes, yes. And with diabetes, they always have to be cognizant of the fact that portion control is of course important.
Very much so.
Yes.
And Ms. Campbell, when we think of glycemic index, I kind of wanted you to break that down for us, because you hear that a lot, glycemic index, glycemic load, and you know, how does it play a role in managing diabetes, and what do we need to know about the two?
Okay, so glycemic index, it is a scale from 0 to 100. It ranks carbohydrate containing foods by how quickly they raise blood glucose levels after you eat them.
Okay.
Yes. And you have glycemic, that's the glycemic index. All right. So let me just explain a little bit with the glycemic index. So you have starting with 55 or less. If this food has a glycemic index of 55 or less, it is considered low.
Okay.
Medium would be from 56 to 69, so it would have a moderate effect on your blood sugar.
Okay.
And anything from 70 or more would be considered a high glycemic index.
Okay.
And of course, that would have a very rapid spike. So when
that's what you'd want to avoid.
And that's what you want to avoid.
Okay.
So we recommend that persons choose foods with glycemic index that are low to medium.
Okay.
To moderation.
Okay.
Now glycemic load, it takes both the glycemic index and the actual portion size into account. All right. Yes. So out of that there is a formula.
Okay.
Yes, to get the glycemic load.
So as much as you would know the glycemic index, but again the portion, how much of it are you actually taking in?
Yes, definitely. So why the difference matter is that a food can have a high glycemic index, but if eaten in such a small amount, that its overall glycemic load is low. So for example, you have watermelon. All right. Now conversely, you have a low glycemic index food eaten in large portions can still produce a big glucose rise. So for example,
it makes sense
you
now.
have pasta. Yes. So yes. So again, it goes back to how much the portion size is. Yes,
very interesting. I'm happy you were able to clear that up very nicely and to explain it. That's interesting.
Definitely. So for example, you have like, let's say half a cup of cooked brown rice would have a glycemic index of about 50.
Okay.
So that would be considered
low.
All right.
But if you were to eat more than half of that,
so it would range right from low to moderate.
Okay. Okay,
so
I
the more
get
you
you.
increase the amount, it would also increase the glycemic.
So that's something you have to take into consideration, the
well.
portions of those foods.
Yes.
Interesting.
So we need to emphasize on the portions. Yes.
Yeah, boy, you don't need the chicken to be the size of your head. Sometimes you go, and I always say too, how do you manage or gauge if you're eating out as well? Sometimes you order a meal or you go to dinner. How are you able to gauge it?
So in cases like this, you may not have measuring instruments, but you can use your hand. Yes, your hand as a guide. So a feast size of, let's say, rice, or it would be considered a cup size as well. Yes. So if you're having something like, let's say, butter, maybe of the end of your palm. Yes, if you're having meat or fish, you can use the palm of your hand. So it gives you a guide as to how much you put on your plate.
Right, there are ways that you can check it, and sometimes again you go to a dinner that's or an event that's buffet.
Yes,
and you figure you want to heap up that plate.
Yes, but always you can use your hand as a guide. Yes.
You go to the conference, they have endless food, you take endless food. Now you sit down in the conference after you've tried to figure out why it is you cannot focus, you cannot concentrate, you want to sleep, you're feeling tired, because now you have the body working overtime. Portions, people, we have to be trying to live by this. Even in I would love to see our restaurants as well that offer food to people, especially that lunchtime rush, that if they too can find ways to incorporate better portion sizes in there, because I know you're using those plates with the portion. I know you're using them wrong. Let me tell you, you're using them so wrong. I think whether the salad's supposed to go is where you'll put the rice carbs, and the thing. Exactly.
The carbs, the macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, and where that's supposed to go, that's why they chuck in a little salad. And then a little portion of it. We have to reverse that.
Yeah, reverse that the other way around.
We have to reverse that. And even for restaurants too, you might find that maybe your bill in terms of what you need to buy every day might even be lower. So these are things that conversations that we need to have, and things that we need to try to implement.
Definitely. Yeah, because let's say, for example, the reverse basically is having more vegetables. So if that is incorporated, having more vegetables might be less costly.
Exactly.
Compared to the combined foods like macaroni and cheese. You need to get cheese, you need to get the pasta, you need to get milk in there.
All of the ingredients needed. Exactly. Whereas the vegetables are one ingredient.
Yeah. So then,
and it's a ripple effect. Farmers, you now have to produce more because of how we're eating healthier. So you can see the ripple effect in that. So I'd really love to see one restaurant champion that cause of following the plate model, and also giving people the option of what they want in terms of portion sizes. Let me build my plates. Allow me to build my plate. Give me that option, and then you charge me for a meal based on that.
Definitely.
You might get more people coming to the restaurant. You might get more people saying, okay, since I know I can go there and build my plate based on what I want to eat today, or how much of that I think I need, and take it from there.
So if it is available, it makes it, I guess, easier for even persons with diabetes out there.
Exactly. To be able to eat out and
eat healthy and well portioned.
Exactly.
Yes.
And feel better. So it's something I'd love to see our local restaurants champion, because honestly, you order a meal, you order a chicken meal there, and when the chicken come, the chicken looking like it is my leg, they take and cut and put it. It's so big, and I'm like, I cannot eat all of that. So you also would be reducing on a certain level of food wastage, because I want to be able to eat everything in my plate. I think I'm paying for it, but then after I go through a whole heap of rice, then you give me about 6 pieces of ground mace. Yeah, it's
that
a
is
lot.
That is a lot.
It's a lot.
Definitely a lot.
So these are conversations that we need to have to educate you and hopefully start to see that change. Now we have to take a really quick break. Of course, when we come back, we still have more time with Miss Campbell. We're discussing nutrition and diabetes. So stick with us. We're going to be right back.
Every bed in our hospitals tells a story of someone's mother, someone's brother, someone's friend. And when that story of care is complete, it's time for the next chapter, home. But too often, discharged patients are left waiting hours, days, weeks, sometimes months, not because they want to stay, but because no one comes. We understand life gets busy, but every extra day they wait means another patient, perhaps in pain, perhaps in crisis, can't get the bed they desperately need. So when the call comes that your loved one is ready, please be ready too. Pick them up, bring them back to the comfort of family, where healing truly continues. Because caring doesn't end at discharge, it continues with you. A message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs.
Industrially produced trans fats are found in fried foods, processed foods such as cookies and chips, hard margarine, vegetable shortening, and some commercially baked products. Avoid the use of trans fats by using fresh, wholesome foods, using natural fats such as nuts and seeds, and unrefined vegetable oils.
This message is brought to you by the Nutrition Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs. And welcome back to the Wellness Hour. Again, we're speaking to our lovely guest, nutritionist Fadia Campbell, and it's all about nutrition and diabetes. We're giving you so much important information, and even if you don't have diabetes, this information is still very useful to you and the entire family. And you know, we want to prevent diabetes. Prevention is better than cure, but it's also important to do your checks, to know your numbers, to know your status, to know where you're at. And just before the break, Miss Campbell and I were talking about, you know, when you go to the restaurant and sometimes you'll try and mama guide them and say, okay, well, I don't want, give me just my meats with vegetables or something, but they're still finding a way to just heap on endless, you know, the rice, and then it's the amount too, because the y'all has really put rice in that plate, I figure, okay, it's the cheapest thing, you're making a whole pan of, but it's a lot of rice. It is too much. By the time you get through that rice, you don't want the nutrient-rich food that you're supposed to be eating from the meal. You cannot eat it, your belly full.
Yeah, so the trick is eat the nutrient-rich foods first. Yes. So eat the vegetables first.
Definitely, definitely. So that's so important. And as we continue, Miss Campbell, when you think of the family support for individuals living with diabetes, how important is it, and how can they, you know, be of assistance as well?
Oh yes, family support is always important, especially when we're speaking about persons living with diabetes. So in the home environment, even helping with the meals.
Right.
And you find that a lot, that persons, there is an individual with diabetes, and you have maybe the siblings, or you have the children that would say, you must not eat this and you must not eat that, and it makes the individual feel very bad. So at the end of it, they were left with, what can I eat?
What can, yeah.
However, we would have explained already the plate method and all of that. But even the persons living in the household, they too can adopt that healthy lifestyle as well.
It is very much beneficial to you.
Yes, very much beneficial by limiting the sodium or salt intake, by limiting all the processed foods, by limiting all the unhealthy fats, etc. And of course, incorporating more vegetables, more peas into the daily diet, watching the portion sizes. So the other family members can support by actually, you know, engaging in that kind of dietary behavior as well.
It's so true, and it makes it a whole lot easier. From a personal experience, I remember sometime back, a few years back, my mom was having a heart attack, and it was after she had that experience. You know, she spent days at the hospital. She had to go on lifelong medication. We made some drastic, you know, nutritional changes in the household, because we were coming from where every day you have to buy bread, so every day they have bread in the home, every day we eating bread, so a point where bread is I don't know when was the last time, like, it is not the first thing we pick up. If we eat bread, is maybe okay, Christmas coming and you want a little flat bread at home, and that's it. So that with that experience and knowing that we had to support my mom in changing her nutrition, we figure it's something that will be beneficial to everybody in the household. And so we made those changes, we made those cuts. So bread you'll barely find at home. You cutting out as much dairy, all of the unnecessary, you know, pastas and stuff. We really made that change for her, and we made it with her, and then it ended up also being beneficial for us.
Definitely. So that is so important, the family support as it relates to, you know, what is in the home, what is in your pantry, what are you buying, what are you coming in the home with. Do you always have vegetables, do you always have fruits, especially those that are in season. So you make it available within the home environment to support that individual with diabetes.
It was so important, and you know, and after a while it became easy, you know,
it became part of yours.
And then we realized we didn't miss it. You didn't need it. You know, it was like, okay, coming from, you know, having to buy bread every single day to just cutting it out completely, because these are the things that, you know, we needed to do to support her. And you know, it defeats the purpose if you have to be, okay, well, we know, okay, mom is diabetic, so we have to cook a certain food for her, and then no, in this day and age, who have time for that? And the money to do that, whereas you can just everybody eat healthily together.
Definitely.
So I think these are things we know. Sometimes you just need the enforcement. You just need to hear somebody maybe say it to you, and so that you can, you know, put it into practice. That is just so important.
Very important.
And then what about as well labels? Because we touched on reading labels with Miss Hunt, and you know, I just realized how important it was, and I was reading some of the labels wrong too. And Miss Campbell, I'll tell you that, because I wasn't understanding in terms of, okay, the serving size, and that maybe the one packet would have had 2 serving sizes. So how important is that as well for somebody with diabetes?
Oh yes, so food label reading is so important, because of course the information on the label, you know, it provides you with that sort of, well, of course, information to inform you as to whether you're going to choose that food or not, and the nutrients contained in there as well. And in interpreting a food label, the nutrients there it represents 1 serving. Right? It represents 1 serving. And of course, it's always important for persons with diabetes to look at how much sugar. So you'll see carbohydrate carries a certain number of grams. Or then below that you would see added sugars. And persons with diabetes in particular, we always encourage them not to, you know, choose the foods that have the added sugars.
So you stay away from that.
With the natural sugars, but you see the added sugars that would tend to cause that food to be too high in sugar, total sugars for that individual person. So label reading is very, very important. So it gives you the amount of sodium in the food, it gives you the amount of fat, the saturated fat, the cholesterol, it gives you dietary fiber. So it gives you a whole host of nutrients and how much is in there.
Great.
Basically.
And when you think of beverages as well for people with diabetes, are there certain things they should avoid and stay away from?
Oh yes, most definitely. Especially the drinks with the added sugars. So you want to take in foods like sugars, beverages that are unsweetened.
Okay.
So you can have unsweetened herbal teas. You can have those sweet spices like the cinnamon.
Yes.
Cinnamon naturally has sugar.
Yeah.
Yes. Cinnamon and ginger and bay leaf. You know, our local drinks.
These are very beneficial.
Yes, very beneficial. They have health benefits as well. You want to have maybe coconut water, but in moderation. In
moderation,
because
yes.
coconut water tends to have natural sugars as well. So try to stay away from all the sweetened drinks, the sodas. Try to stay away from this because definitely
alcohol
and alcohol as well. You know, so stay away from all those sweetened drinks and added sugars, and try to do your unsweetened teas and so on. And beverages.
Could you take a chance with some fruit smoothies without the sweeteners or the added sugars?
Yes, you can, but of course you have to look at the amount that you're taking in.
Moderation.
Right? In moderation,
Understood.
yes.
Understood.
So you can't have it but still have a tumbler. No, at least half a cup of
no problem.
Smoothie with maybe 1 or 2 fruits in there, and that's it, with the natural sugars coming from the fruits.
Okay, great.
Yes, so you can take a chance.
And Ms. Campbell, just as we're wrapping up, I know you wanted to just reiterate some information and give some advice to our viewers as well.
Oh yes, so definitely in summary, I want to recommend that persons with diabetes, they ensure they start their day with a hearty, healthy breakfast.
Definitely.
Remember the My Plate tool to help guide you as to how much food that you're putting on your plate. Choose lean protein like your fish or your lean meats, etc. Use healthy fats sparingly. So you have coconut oil, you have olive oil, or even avocado.
Right.
These are healthy fats. You need to watch your portion sizes. That's important. You need to stay hydrated. So drink water throughout the day. Your unsweetened herbal teas. And like I said, coconut water, but in moderation. Avoid the sugary drinks and desserts, and of course make physical activity and exercise part of your lifestyle habit as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, so basically these are some of the take-home messages that I would like to leave with the Saint Lucian public. Yes.
Well said, Ms. Campbell. And again, we want to thank you for joining us today, and keep doing your amazing work, educating our students, educating the community on how they can eat healthier and live healthier lives. It's so important what you and your team do as nutritionists. So thank you so much for that.
Yes,
and any information you want to share, feel free to be a guest with us again. We'd love to have you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
It was a pleasure, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you.
And I want to say thank you to you, the viewers, for joining us for another informative episode of the Wellness Hour. Thank you to the team at Hot7, and thank you to our sponsors as well, the Caribbean Development Bank and the Inter-American Development Bank, and of course to the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs for making this possible with Hot7 TV. You, our viewers, I want to say enjoy your Thursday. I hope that you continue to have a great week and weekend, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye for now.
Hot7 TV is the rising star on television in St.